Welcome to the Top Shelf Dusters podcast. I am Amanda, back as the fact checker for this fabulous second season, our second episode of the season. And I'm joined with Jesse.
Who is still ungrateful to be here with Amanda for this second episode of this second season.
Salty. And
Always.
Cass.
I don't think this is going to change anytime soon, Jesse. So you're just going to have to get used to it. I mean, we can't fire her. We can't afford to hire anyone else. So we're stuck with her.
Damn.
Suck it up, Jesse. And with Ethan.
Go Stars, and I appreciate Amanda. And Jesse. And Cass.
Both liars.
And your nose is really brown already.
Anyway, so this week we are going to give our predictions for how the Pacific Division will shake out and a look at the NHL's top 10 defensemen, which I definitely have some problems with.
Same.
But first, we're going to get things started with the latest NHL news.
So it seems that the Team Canada players are all excused from attending pre-trial hearings for what Ethan wrote down as bogus reasons, and I would have to agree. The judge is allowing the 5 former NHL hockey players who were charged with that sexual assault in a case that dates back when they were with Canada's World Junior team to skip pre-trial legal arguments for, quote, compelling economic reasons. It is because the 5 players in question, Mike McLeod, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Carter Hart, and I forgot Formanton's first name, so sorry, my bad. Whatever, he doesn't deserve it anyway. They are all trying to get jobs and continue playing hockey in certain places. McLeod and Dubé are apparently signing contracts in the KHL, who seemingly will take anybody. Foote and Hart aren't playing, but I know I know Carter Hart tried coming over to stay in Tennessee on some sort of work visa, which apparently the United States declined. Can't imagine why. And Formanton says he has moved on from a hockey career, according to the court documents, but is working full-time in construction and getting ongoing training in the operation of heavy equipment, as well as the administration aspects of his new trade. So they could skip all the pre-trial arguments for these reasons.
Okay, one thing I want to say real quick. Oh, go ahead, Cass.
I was just going to say, that's going to severely limit Alex Formenton's construction career, because a lot of these construction sites now, you have to take a Corey check. And he ain't going to pass that.
It's
with
all
his record that he has
bogus.
right now. Oh.
I think on one hand, it's nice to see, or not nice to see, that the Canadian courts are just as messed up as the U.S. courts.
Shitty?
So
yes.
You can't shove that in our face anymore, Canada. But the jujitsu played by these lawyers is crazy. McLeod and Dubé especially, because it's not even that they're playing in the KHL. They even list like the time zone differences. And it's like, well, if the court case starts 10 p.m. EDT in Canada, we're going to be at like 7 p.m. local time, and games could start at that time. So it's not even like for sure.
Ethan's got the biggest hard-on for time zones I've ever seen in my
I wish
life,
people would understand. I just wish people understood.
I think people understand they just don't care.
This has been a side argument in the Freeze the Puck Hockey Discord chats. That's where this is coming from, just so everyone is aware, in case you aren't.
I'm appalled at the misunderstanding of basic third grade education.
Out of everything in the world, that's what Ethan decides to put his foot down on. I love it.
He's right.
You know. But
I'm with him.
We can't tell him that.
Okay, I agree with him.
It's one of the OCD things. But those two, McLeod and Dubé, those are especially crazy. And they're all crazy. Footy, whatever. Hart, and well, I guess it's just those two. It's mainly based on, well, I need to keep training. And it would be a very big disruption to my training if I attended a court hearing. That's wild. And then Formenton, I'm learning how to operate excavators and skid steer loaders.
So it seems that where is it? the Crown, I'm guessing is what they call the government up in Canada, did not argue against granting the players their applications, but they did note that it was a, quote, significant accommodation. So, and to say that is like a slap in the face. Yes, it is a significant accommodation for people who are charged with the heinous crimes of what these guys are dealing with. So,
Yeah.
I guess it's because of who they are. Yeah, it's definitely because of who they are. Let's be real.
Speaking of big names, last week someone presented the case of the NHL 25 cover curse and which Hughes brother was it going to affect? Well, that answer was
Immediately answered.
good Lord. That question was answered very quickly. Luke Hughes, he has been injured. His left shoulder was injured, and it was while training. You know, you can't miss a day of training if you ask one of those players.
The Canadian courts.
Yeah. He was training. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So not great news for a team that has seen this happen.
These two, Luke Hughes, Jack Hughes, they've got just, is it like a thing in the Hughes family where the shoulders just aren't
Didn't
up to
affect
snuff?
Quinn.
Yeah,
Quinn
hasn't yet.
And you know, it's really unfortunate for my prediction because I did say New Jersey would be first in the Metro.
I gave him second, but I'm also biased, so.
But
which
we'll
I'll
see.
admit.
Amanda, you want to talk Canes? Of course you do.
Always. What kind of question is that? So the Canes officially announced that they are changing the name of the arena yet again from the PNC Arena to Lenovo Center, or is it just Lenovo? That one I can't remember.
I think it's Lenovo Arena.
Glad you guys know this.
Right, I'm super great
fan,
Canes fan
Amanda.
here.
Yeah.
Anyways, not a huge surprise. There's been a lot of talk recently about the name changing.
It
like
is
many arenas
Lenovo Center.
Center. Yep, I was just looking that up while I was talking too.
There you go, fact checker.
That's their sponsor on their helmet. So again, not a huge surprise. And it was all over social media of like them scraping like PNC Arena like off the side of the building. So it was kind of knew it was coming.
Does it change the fact that they're going to get eliminated in the second round again in the playoffs? No, it doesn't. So
First round. They're not getting to the second round this year.
yeah.
Well, I think the funniest part of this story was that the reason it was announced when it was is because it was leaked on the NHL video game. Like they had it ready. Then you start playing or you see it. I don't know how people saw it, but that's not PNC.
And
so
in the current one?
No, in the 2025
Oh, okay. Weird.
next one.
I see.
So it was like a trailer.
Yeah.
From my understanding, yes, because I haven't watched
Gosh,
the trailer.
Wasn't
even
even
worse.
gameplay. Wasn't even like actual gameplay. They got it leaked by a trailer. Good
They didn't
job.
get out of their own way.
But I mean, surely it was going to come out pretty soon because all these teams, you know, once they start laying their ice, they post videos and
Right. Still not as
PNC's
bad.
you know.
Still not the worst arena name in the league, which goes to Crypto.com Arena in LA.
It's a link.
And
Hate it.
fans had been around the arena and had posted pictures of like the temporary flags on the side. So it was one of those like it was like a terrible secret. Like
It's a hard thing to
Kept
hide.
secret, yeah.
Exactly.
But you know, I think the biggest winner of this is PNC. Congrats! You don't have to have your name on that awful arena.
Speaking of the arena, they will be initiating phase 1 of like redoing that area, and the way they have it set up to be redone, it is going to be amazing. Like it's going to be like a proper destination point for North Carolina.
Which
There's
it's not hard to
nothing
get on
else
the
to
list.
visit.
Come back in a couple of years once we have it all done. Thank
The
you.
downtown's like a city block, and that's about it.
There's a cardboard house on the corner of some street I saw, and that's also on the list of destination spots. The
City
North
Hall's
Carolina
attached to the
area.
library building.
Oh, anyways.
They get to make
Well,
fun of it. I wasn't there, so I don't know. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about what's going on.
Yeah.
But I believe every word that they're saying.
Great.
It's Raleigh. Let's be real.
Next year
Seattle's so
we'll
much better.
we'll make fun of Nashville.
No, I'm probably.
Maybe we'll hint when we're gonna be there.
I think I would love Nashville. So
Yeah, it's a hard city to hit on in the negative way. Anyways, someone take it away.
So there's been a lot of professional tryouts that have been signed. I think we have 5, 6 on this list. The New York Rangers signed Adam Ernie to a PTO. He's a former Red Wing trying to earn a spot in the NHL roster through training camp. He played 24 games for Edmonton last season. I don't remember him at all. I know who he is, but I don't remember him at all last season. He struggled in Detroit at first. 56 games in his first season. He tallied 5 points while recording 142 hits. So it seems like physicality is going to be a big thing for this guy if he does make the New York Rangers roster, which they need because they are incredibly soft and have been for quite some time. Aside from Trouba, who's probably the biggest name for physicality on that roster, they don't really have anyone else. And they got rid of Ryan Reeves last season. That immediately took all of their toughness away, and we don't need Artemi Panarin being slammed to the ice again by Tom Wilson. So let's do something about that, please.
That was a very in-depth analysis.
That's why you got Rempe, right?
Say again?
That's why you have Matt Rempe now.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. I can see him being like a key guy on the roster, but Laviolette doesn't seem to really trust him, and I think that was shown towards the end of last season, and definitely in the playoffs when they had him on the roster, but they didn't do anything with him, which I think was a detriment to both him and the team during the playoffs last season.
I just feel like whenever he's playing, that place is
They love him.
10% louder.
New York loves him.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I haven't seen too many of them, but too many games with him in it. But it's just him playing in a regular season game almost brings it to playoff levels. Just the way the crowd interacts with him, you know.
For sure, yeah, and I hope that they make him a little bit more of a permanent place, a little bit more of a permanent player in the roster. But we shall see. I'm not really gonna hold my breath on that one.
The next one, it was Amanda's Carolina Hurricanes. They signed Sam Gagner.
You did it,
yeah.
Gagner
To a PTO.
Sam Gagner,
and this is just the second of a very big list of PTOs. So, Amanda, do you have any comments on it? I mean, you know him from Edmonton,
Obviously. No big comments. He's an older player coming on. I've been watching our prospect games, and we have a lot of good guys in the prospect pool. So my money's more on the upcoming prospects than him.
but you got to give Stahl, a buddy to talk about. Oh, my knees.
buddy to
Back in
get
the day.
geriatric with.
It's you got to try and
Ask the
be like
Bengay.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Bengay.
Mom, the
love
Bengay.
Penguins. Yeah, no real thoughts on him. I don't think
We'll
he's
see.
needed. So
That's like the catchphrase of PTOs. We'll see.
Speaking of we'll see, Toronto signed Max Pacioretty to a PTO. The 35-year-old forward had 23 points last season in 47 regular season games for the Capitals, and 1 assist in 4 Stanley Cup playoff games in which they got swept. No surprise. Pacioretty made his season debut on January 3rd. He didn't play since January 19th of 2023 because of another torn ACL. So, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen with him. I think the dude should retire.
Was
That's
it
my
a torn
opinion.
ACL? I thought it was an Achilles.
Oh, Achilles. Is that not the same thing?
Okay.
They both start with
Absolutely
A. It's the same thing.
I agree.
According to Amanda's Hops on Socks Dr. Seuss book or whatever the hell she is.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll send it to you in the mail, Jesse. Don't worry.
Hey,
Thanks. I appreciate that. I don't know if he's going to get a spot on the roster in Toronto. Does anyone else?
No, he's not going to
want
get
him
a spot on my
to, though.
fantasy team this year. That's for sure. 3 years later, I'm done.
I want
was-
the guy deserves to have like one like super spectacular season and then retire with as much as he's been through and like rehabbing himself. Like I just want him to have like one like highlight year to end it all.
You can kick a tire too much.
I don't know. Like, yeah, he's had 2 detrimental injuries, all things considered. But like, I was kind of hoping the Bruins would take a stab at him. Like, he's gonna be cheap. He's gonna be, the guy can score still, and it's just a matter of just staying healthy and not screwing up the ACL Achilles again.
But
I kind of wish the Bruins took a stab at him.
No, but
No.
Cass, you got to think you're talking about a guy. It's one thing to like miss a season, but it's getting into like Landeskog territory as well. It's like you go so long without skating, it becomes very difficult to skate regularly enough to make a contribution to an NHL team.
I understand that, but if he's been healthy since January, he's had all off season to train full bore.
At full
You know,
strength.
technology and training is so much different now than it was before. I feel like, I don't know. I hope Toronto screws it up and lets him go, and then the Bruins sign him for cheap. But then again, I don't think he likes the Bruins because Gerard mashed his face in on the corner glass. So
Rightfully
that.
so.
Yeah.
Apparently, Achilles and ACL are not the same thing. So, thank you, WebMD, who tells me I'm going to die every time I Google symptoms.
go figure.
We've got more PTOs in case you weren't fed up with them enough. The Utah Hockey Club has assigned, go ahead, Jesse,
Tyler Yamamoto.
to a PTO. And I'll let you just talk about it since you're a Kraken guy.
Bye. I mean, Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is a franchise first for Utah. This is their first signed PTO. So congratulations to him.
And them, I guess. Do you think Yamamoto was an issue in Seattle, just a system thing, or he's just not a good player?
I don't think he's found the right system for the NHL. He hasn't really performed. He was on Edmonton. I don't really recall anything memorable with him in Edmonton. I don't remember hearing his name often when he was playing for Seattle last season. I watched the kid play in the WHL. He played for the Spokane Chiefs. He's from Spokane, Washington. He dominated in the WHL. He just can't seem to find either the right system, the right players around him, or whatnot to make his presence known in the National Hockey League.
Well, Cass, you constantly tell us that Boston needs more center depth. Would you have wanted this PTO?
Pass.
Okay. Well,
It
there
just
you
seems like he just hasn't. He's been in enough systems now that I think he would have found one that works. And if it hasn't worked by now, he's not as bad as Neil Yakupov, but like he was a high pick too, correct? Like,
I don't
if
remember.
I'm not mistaken, maybe a 13th overall. I don't know.
First
Amanda,
round,
if you could-
22nd overall.
Man, that's
Okay,
why
so-
you pay her the big bucks.
That's a high pick to have mush come out of it. So I'm all set. Go for it, Utah. Have fun.
Kat
Yeah,
in our chat says, when your team needs a center, so you bring in Kyler Yamamoto, which isn't going to do anything for them. Alan says he's been regressing, and Alan, I'm sure, will have some opinions later about the Pacific in this episode.
And I mean, he's only ever played almost one full season. In 2021, 2022, he played 81 games. The rest, he hasn't even really come close to playing full season either.
So the other thing with that is, I wonder if He kind of reminds me of those players who are too good for the AHL but not good enough for the NHL. So like he's
Like
gonna
a Brett
probably end up playing
Ritchie.
overseas. Yeah, like a Brett Ritchie or a Jordan Caron. He was famous for the Bruins doing that. But yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. Colorado signed Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Yeah, you did it.
PTO. I think I did. I don't think anyone here would know the right pronunciation because that is French.
He was also a former Seattle Kraken last season, and another guy whose name I barely heard, but he also got injured from what I remember. So maybe that that impacted it, obviously. But I mean, bye to both of those guys from Seattle, in my opinion.
if I'm not mistaken, he was on Colorado before, so he's
Yes.
familiar with the system.
Mhm.
He's familiar with the coaching staff, so he's kind of got an inside leg on that. Wouldn't be
Which-
surprised if they sign him, especially if Landeskog's out.
The other thing, speaking of Colorado, we need to. We'll look something up for next week, but we need to go take another look at where the Nichushkin thing is at.
Yeah, I
forgot
haven't heard
about
anything
that.
about that.
I think
See if we can
he's-
find something.
Bye until
now,
the 6
Amanda.
months are up, right?
I think, well, yeah, for sure.
October, yeah.
Yeah, so you probably won't hear anything until then.
There were 3 other PTOs, and Cass, why don't you take it? Because I'm not going to try.
Anaheim starts Mark, Boris, and Gustav.
Mark, Boris, and
Um,
Gustav, the 3 musketeers there.
yeah. Mark Fizik, Boris Chuk, and Gustav Lindstrom. I got that one. Nailed it. To PTOs. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Mark is a defenseman, and I don't know the other 2, to be honest. So good luck to them. Anaheim is a young team with spots to fill. Oh, I was almost going to say holes to fill, but I said.
Well, you still said it
Um,
anyway, so thanks. Thanks for that one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if none of them get PTOs. One of them will get in there. It's just a matter of
Yeah, I don't know what Anaheim's doing. I mean, they had like 5 or 6
the
RFAs. And
top
I think
5 draft pick.
they signed 2 of them, and then now they're doing this, and it's again no one really impact. Good luck, Anaheim. I hope the whole orange thing works out.
And Zegras now has a nasty looking mullet too. So
That's it.
Oh.
Joe Dirt style.
Couple other signings, Jesse.
You don't
You
want
get
to pronounce
the
this
first
one? Nashville.
No, but they're both your teams.
Nashville signed Juuso Parssinen to a 1-year, $775,000 extension. He played 44 games last season, tallying 8 goals and 4 assists. He's somebody who I've seen be prevalent in the Nashville lineup when he is in it. I think he's going to be a good player for that team. It gives them a bridge to work with on a potential contract for next season after they made some pretty big moves in this offseason. I think it's a good extension for both of them, and we'll see where it goes for him. I guess I also got to talk about Seattle. So Seattle also extended Adam Larson. Seattle Kraken fans have been waiting for this. 4 years, $5.25 million AAV. He's entering the final season of a 4-year, $16 million contract he signed with the Kraken in July of 2021. That was the day that he was claimed by Seattle from the Edmonton Oilers in the 2021 expansion draft. It seems like Ron Francis is pretty happy about getting this extension done. He said that Larson is in the mix potentially to be named captain, though he held up a little bit and wants to make sure that the new head coach has a say in that.
Yeah, you nailed exactly what I was going to say about Larson. Larson seems like he would be a great candidate for captain. Who is it now? It's not done. Is it McNabb?
There is no.
Oh, there is no. Who was it?
It was Giordano when they started, and then when they traded him to Toronto, they didn't name anybody. I thought naming Giordano captain was stupid for that team anyway.
It was hasty.
He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. But I don't want to talk about Giordano.
So yeah, I think a good captain. type of player. He's clearly there for the long haul. And then as far as Parsonen, I think the reason no one had anything to say was because it's not like it hurts or helps Nashville. They're a good team. They've made some great moves. This isn't a move to really talk about, but we report it. I'll take these two. Toronto signs Nick Robertson. I know how to pronounce him because he is the younger brother to Jason Robertson. They signed him to a 1-year deal, $875,000. He's been an injury-plagued player. He is not on the same level as Jason Robertson for the Stars. And I think he has the potential to be a good player. So this deal for Toronto and their cap, that's a good deal if he can stay healthy. The other move Toronto made is they signed Yanni Hakanpää. Also, he's a former Dallas Star, to a 1-year deal, $1.47 million for that 1 year. And this one has me scratching my head because I think I talked about it on here. I know I've talked about it online that Yanni Hakanpää all but had hung up the skates because of an injury. So I don't know what's going on with this.
They announced this signing on the first day of free agency, and it never went through.
No,
recently.
They had traded or acquired his rights or something like that. I think it was one of those.
Either way, they've had him since July, and only recently pushed this deal through. So it is weird to me that this is going on too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see him on the ice. That's how I'd put it. But the only other thing to talk about was Crosby, Sidney Crosby. He hinted to Pittsburgh media last week, I believe, that an extension was imminent. I don't know if that's just press talk or legit, but it happened.
Crosby, I think, has always kind of been like a really good guy to talk to the media. So it could be him just, giving them something to hear. He says, I'm pretty optimistic it's going to get done. I don't know what day specifically, but it's been really positive. It hasn't been a difficult process at all. So, I mean, he's in a contract year. Maybe he'll kick some ass for me in my fantasy team. but they're saying it's going to happen before the opening night. So
it won't be shocking. One thing I'll throw
like a year or two.
No, I'd say this is like till retirement type deal.
Wait, but I mean, he's 37. So no, that's when it
37.
expires. Yeah. So like, at what point would you put retirement? Like
at 3 years?
3?
I want to retire now.
I'm not asking. Is your name Sidney Crosby? I didn't think so.
No, thank God.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3. Two to be cautious, and then do like a 1 year if he still has it in him.
I mean, his numbers are still great though. Like
they
that's
are.
the thing. Like it's not like we're looking at Ovechkin numbers where you're like, is he even going to reach 20 goals this season?
Yeah.
He had 42 goals last season, 94 points. I mean, he was the reason that the Penguins were even in the consideration for a playoff spot. I picked him up on my fantasy roster this season because I'm hoping that I get a fraction of that production.
Well, keep hoping.
And that's my thing. Like, realistically, then what's that contract going to look like? How many years? Does he take a team-friendly deal? Because he's getting paid $8.7 million now. So it'd be interesting to see what that contract looks like if it goes through.
I say 2 years.
I think 2 is reasonable.
You don't think he's going to get a 6-year contract like Malkin and Letang?
You better not. That would be foolish.
But to be fair, he spent a lot of his early career injured, so maybe he's just delayed his aging or something like that.
Maybe he was concussed so much as a young kid, he doesn't realize how old he really is.
Doesn't know how old.
He just keep on playing.
I want an 8-year deal. One thing I didn't put on our list, but I'll just read through them super quick. Last week we talked about the PWHL potential names that came out this last Monday.
We were way off.
Boo on that insider for posting those. These are the official names of the PWHL. The Boston Fleet, the New York Sirens, the Minnesota Frost, the Ottawa Charge, the Montreal Victory, and the Toronto Scepters.
Can you say Montreal with a little bit more of a French accent?
Montreal Victory.
It's Victoire.
I think he may be. I have no idea. I am not.
Victory.
Victoire.
So which one of them?
Victoire.
Which one of them has the best logo?
Victoire.
And why is it Minnesota? It's Minnesota. Come on.
I don't know. Toronto's isn't bad.
As long as it's not
good.
Well, none of them are good.
As long as it's not the Ottawa Charge, which is like a baby of the Cleveland Cavaliers logo.
That's literally what it is.
Everyone's been saying Calgary Flames, and all I could see is LeBron's ugly face with that on his jersey.
Yeah, that's it. The Montreal one's pretty good too. If I could just know exactly how to say that.
Victoire.
Victoire.
I like Boston's actually.
That a girl.
How many PWHL games have you watched?
Team.
Me? Yeah, you.
I watched most of the playoff run and a couple of regular season, not too many.
Of course.
It's funny, they call it Boston, and it's like an hour and 10 minutes from my house, and I'm like 30 minutes from Boston, so it's like almost near New Hampshire. And I'm like, cool. I'll never go to one of those games. Excellent.
That
So.
I mean, what else are they going to call it? What town are they in?
Lowell.
They're not going to call it that. No one knows where that is.
No. Massachusetts Fleet.
The Massachusetts Fleet doesn't have that, I guess, ferocity to it.
Congrats for the Sirens. They got a deal with the Prudential Center where the New Jersey Devils play, and that's where they're going to play their home games.
So they're going to play in New Jersey. Another New York
it's just
team,
like the Giants and the Jets.
They're literally right next to each other. I don't know if you know that. MetLife and what the Rock, the Prudential Center. I wanted to call it Continental Airlines, which 15 years ago. They're right next to each other. So why are
they really?
Yes, they are. Yeah, it's a whole complex in like East Rutherford. Huge place. They've got a huge mall there. It's nuts.
Oh, I've been to the mall. That's wild. They have that brand new indoor water park.
Yes, they do. I haven't been to that, but it looks dope.
I've driven by MetLife and I've been to the Pru, and obviously I was staring at the GPS the whole time. I didn't realize they were that close to each other. I say they're right next to each other, but you also got to take into consideration the 70 miles of parking lots between them. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, another New York team playing in New Jersey with the New York name.
I kind of felt
breaking news. Things in New Jersey are crazy.
And suck.
They do suck.
QQ's shoulder. Speaking about sucking, it's Alan's turn to come on the podcast.
Yeah, let's get it.
I just figured I'd jump on that segue.
Let me unmute him real quick and then put him on. There you go. Hi, Alan.
Hey, what's happening?
We can't hear you.
No?
Oh, I hear him.
No.
Oh, he's messing with them.
Wiener.
So we've got Alan here. Alan's been on the podcast previously. He was on our Winter Classic episode talking about the Seattle Kraken. He's a Kraken fan. We're talking about the Pacific Division. He knows the Pacific Division, I hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, hi, Alan.
Hi. Yeah, it's fun to challenge myself to pay attention to the Pacific when I live with a team that's in the Atlantic. So that's all that I ever hear about is anything about the Detroit Red Wings. So
and you're in the Eastern time zone, which, I mean, you work overnights.
Yeah, they all blend together, dude. I thought maybe today might have been Thursday. I don't know.
Thank God.
Ethan, did he say that right? Eastern time zone, or should he say Eastern Daylight? How does that work?
It is Eastern Daylight currently. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate it.
It's like 9:34 on the East Coast. Who cares?
It's daylight time until
Ethan
November.
Does, apparently.
Let's get things started with the 2023 standings, that's how we'll go through this list. Starting from the top, the Vancouver Canucks got that first overall seed, and the Presidents, or not the first overall in the Western, but for the Pacific, and they won. No, sorry,
No, they didn't.
forget everything else. That was New York. Anyways, they finished the season with 50 wins, 23 losses, 9 overtime losses, and 109 points.
I don't think they've really. I mean, they've made moves. You know, they got Jake DeBrusk. They got Daniel Sprong from Detroit. They got a couple guys that I don't really think that they've lost anybody that's going to be a detriment to them. Elias Lindholm didn't really gel well, it seemed like, in Vancouver. Nikita Zadorov's out. Vasily Podkolzin, he was, I remember, on the roster a little bit last season. But I think that they're going to continue to bring the heat in this division.
If
Thatcher Demko comes back.
And
or
if
they
Silovs
have
is
anything.
Silovs, is that how you pronounce it? The other
He
goalie?
loves, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. If he's not too badly broken either, because one of their departures was Casey DeSmith. So
that was probably their biggest one based on current circumstance.
yeah, no doubt. It seems like with all they also picked up Daniel Sprong too.
Bing
a lot
bong.
of Jake Sprong, DeBrusk, all these guys that have really fast. It seems like they're moving toward like a faster transition. So like as a team, they want to be faster in the transition. I think the decor looks a little spotty in areas, personally. But that's my...
if well, I mean, you lose Lindholm, and then if Quinn can keep that shoulder healthy, that's the next thing.
Lindholm's the
Yeah.
center.
Oh, who am I thinking of?
Zadorov.
Zadorov.
No, that's not who I was thinking of. Anyways,
Campus Lindholm,
Hughes-
who's on the Bruins.
he basically plays center
Did
when he
ever
skates up
fig-
ice.
Did you guys ever figure out that question from last week of who's actually going to be in net for them too?
Nope. And I'm looking right now, and
Fair
there's it says Thatcher Demko and Shilovs. So
Nikita
Nobody. Cool.
Pilo is the third goalie, according to Hockey News.
I was
Oh,
reading
that'll
that.
be interesting.
I was reading that Demko's knee might be irreparable. Like it might just be a constant bug his whole life.
Sucks to suck.
So overall, better, worse, same.
Worse.
I'm leaning on the fence of
I don't
slightly
answer that
worse.
one.
I'm gonna stick to same.
I'm gonna say same too. I think DeBrusk and Sprong add enough to put me up at same.
See, for me, he's been injured a lot lately, but Derek Forbert is a very good addition for that defense. He's a shot blocking machine, plays a lot of penalty kill time, and he's an awesome guy in the locker room. I think he's going to be a very highly underrated add for that locker room. Yeah, plus, two of his teammates went with him, and Danton Heinen and Jake DeBrusk. So I think he'll shore up that defense pretty good. He's a big body too.
All right. Next up in the Pacific last year, we had the Edmonton Oilers, who then would go on to win the Western Conference Final and lose in the Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers. They finished the season 49 wins, 27 losses, 6 overtime losses, finishing the season with 104 points after a disastrous start to their season.
Abysmal.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to watch.
I loved it.
I was enjoying myself way too much watching.
I think everybody but Edmonton Oilers fans enjoyed.
Well, they enjoyed it in the end.
Well, did they?
Ish.
We still came out on top.
Yeah, we sort of bookended the whole season.
They had some notable additions. They picked up Victor Arvidsson from LA. They picked up Jeff Skinner from Buffalo. They got Matt Savoy from Buffalo. Vasily Podkolzin, whose name I butchered earlier and just butchered again, came from Vancouver. Ty Emerson and Josh Brown. They did lose Ryan McLeod. I don't really think that's too big of a deal. Warren Fogle, Philip Broberg, Dylan Holloway. These guys, I mean, their losses their gains outweigh their losses, in my opinion.
They just didn't gain the one thing they needed.
Go ahead, Kes.
I was going to say they got rid of Sam Carrick and brought in his brother Connor Carrick, correct? They're brothers?
They're brothers. Might be.
I'm just going to go with it.
I thought Fogle departing was the big one for me on that.
Skinner and Arvidsson, they can skate well. And it's like the team, it's not like they got faster, but they improved their skating, I think.
Well, I'll guarantee you something going into the season. Unless he gets injured, Jeff Skinner will play his first playoff game this season.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so as well. I don't think that they've gotten better. I don't think they've gotten worse. They're another team that I would say is going to stay where they are in the standings. It'll be a fight between them and Vancouver for sure.
I think they just had tons of re-signing is basically what I was staring at when free agency hit. They just kind of took on all the same guys. They're like, oh, no, you're not going. Come on back. It's okay. No, your seat's still warm. Come on back. It seems like they're doing the whole kind of West version of Toronto thing, right? We'll run it back. See how it goes. Except now we gave Draisaitl a boatload of money.
But in Edmonton's defense, they made it to the Stanley Cup final, whereas Toronto has made it to the second round one time in the last 20 years. So
it's like a slightly better run it back.
But I don't foresee Edmonton's locker room being as tight-knit as Florida was. Florida players generally said that the reason they were able to make it all the way back and had that mindset was because the locker room had that tight-knit and that mindset to actually get back. I just don't really see that with Edmonton. I see it more as like, okay, Connor's going to score goals. Draisaitl's going to score goals. We're just gonna be warm bodies and help out.
But that's how. Yeah. I mean, again, you run it back. That's how it's always been. I mean, I think they've got a little bit more depth than they have in previous years. I think Victor Arvidsson was a good signing. I don't know how I feel about Jeff Skinner, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think they're going to make it to the Stanley Cup final again.
No,
but we'll see.
Arvidsson was the name that stuck out to me too.
I think they stay the same, and it all hinges on what Skinner can.
Stuart Skinner or Jeff Skinner?
Stuart Skinner. What he can do, if he actually can play at the level. That's what I think it comes down to.
I want to know how Edmonton's sitting with cap space.
They are
have that written down. They have $946,000 in cap space currently. Holy.
That's without Evander Kane on LTIR, correct?
Correct. And then Canucks, I wrote down all of them what their cap space was. I didn't know if it was going to be relevant or not. Vancouver has 191,000.
So they can't do anything.
Goes on LTIR.
No, both teams are pretty strapped.
All the cap spaces with Anaheim and San Jose.
That's
where all the money is.
We'll get there.
Oh, we have to talk about those teams?
Why? Yeah, we do.
I got some things for them.
Next up were the Los Angeles Kings, everybody's favorite Los Angeles Kings, playing at the Crypto.com arena.
Worst team. Worst arena.
They finished the season with 44 wins, 27 losses, and 11 overtime losses, finishing with 99 points.
They got a new coach in the middle of last season.
They got several.
They did get several new coaches. I don't really think... I think that they lost more players than they lost better players than they gained. So I think they're going to take a step back here this season. Not that it matters. They can't get out of the first round anyway. So
it could have been Pierre-Luc Dubois. That could have been the curse.
That was a win for them, getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Getting
He
rid of him.
never really got his stride in LA, did he?
He hasn't gotten his stride anywhere.
That's fair.
Or Winnipeg or Columbus.
Or they picked up Fogle. That's where he ended up going.
They also got
Yeah,
Tanner
Oh,
Jeannot,
Probably
Darcy Kemper. I
Yeah.
mean, Tanner Jeannot makes them a little bit more fierce, but their
Does
core is aging too.
Does Kemper make him more fierce in your opinion? I don't know.
They needed a goalie.
I think
I
Kemper
was gonna
was
say fierce, no, but
good
Um,
in Colorado when they won the cup because of the defense they had in front of them.
Kemper's getting $5.2 million. I don't think he's worth that. But, I mean, he's a
No.
better goalie than the other two that they have, David Riddick and Phoenix Copley. So,
so
I
would you
think
rather
Phoenix
have
Copley has the potential.
go Kes.
Yeah,
would
he's
you
the
rather
young
have
one.
Kemper at that price or ELD at his price? 'Cause it
I'd-
was a 1-for-1 trade.
I'd rather have Kemper.
At best, I'd say that goalie tandem was a lateral movement, not so much like an upgrade.
What? I think Darcy Kemper's an upgrade off of Cam Talbot. No doubt.
Depends which version.
Yeah, that's the
Not
thing.
the injured version of Cam Talbot.
Which we saw more than we
Oh.
did.
Yeah, I felt like he was injured a bunch.
I'm pretty sure Jake Allen, not Jake Allen. Good Lord, what's his name? Campbell, Jack Campbell, Poop Soup.
Oops.
He's out there.
My
If someone
boy.
wants him.
I mean, no, he's not. Detroit took him,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
and they took Talbot too. So
They took, yeah, well, we'll talk about them later.
yeah, you guys have fun with that one.
Um,
They have
So-
a 1.32 million in cap remaining as well, so they have
Alright.
some money, just in case.
just in case they want to take Pierre-Luc Dubois back. They
Where
have
did
the
he end
money
up
for it.
going?
He went to
Washington.
Washington.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
next up on the list. We have everybody's real favorite team, the Vegas Golden Knights,
And they're over the cap.
Stanley Cup winning, LTIR abusing, sparkly gold wearing Vegas Golden Knights.
Why do you
Is
have to
that a
remind
visor
us?
over the cap?
Why do you have to remind us
They-
about the Stanley Cup?
Just because they will. They finished the season with 45 wins, 29 losses, 8 overtime losses, 98 points just to get shut down by Dallas in the first round of the playoffs. Just to
Just gonna
remind
be
everyone.
crapping on them
just
this
so we
segment.
know.
I love it.
We remember. We remember. It was almost bad for you there, Ethan.
It almost was, and then it
Ah.
was just 2 rounds later.
La Bamba.
Play the Bomba. That's offensive. Sorry. to
Remember
everyone.
the Winter Classic? I remember.
Vegas picked up.
Thank you, Jesse.
Vegas picked up Ilya Samsonov, Alexander Holtz, Akira Schmid, and Victor Olofsson. Not really big names. I think Samsonov's probably the biggest name on that list. They did lose Jonathan Marchessault, Chandler Stevenson, Logan Thompson, who was in the middle of signing things for their fans when he was told that he was traded. Michael Amadio, William Carrier, Paul Cotter, Anthony Mantha, and Alec Martinez are all gone from Vegas. I think this is a big step back for them, honestly.
They don't have the money. It's
It
simple. They just
is
don't.
it is a big step back, I think, but we now get a full season of Eichel, Stone,
Allegedly.
Petrangelo. Yeah,
Hurdle.
allegedly. All the guys they got. Hurdle. Who was the other one? They got another big name. I can't remember. But this team they put together.
I don't know,
Hannafin, yeah. I think they're more dangerous than you guys might think.
Damn it, now I'm flip-flopping again. Gosh darn it.
I mean, when you put it into that perspective, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, Aiden Hill's going to be their goaltender. He proved that he could be a number one. And Samsonov, it seems, is going to back him up. I don't know.
I think that's where they got wrong. Let me just say it right here, since you listed them. Logan I think you should have gotten rid of Hill and
I
kept
agree.
Thompson.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that was a lateral move more than anything.
Because Hill is now looking like an injury-prone goalie as well.
Yeah, I
And then
think
you picked up
Samsonov ends up.
Samsonov. Great. Now you have two of them.
I do think Samsonov will end up being the number one goalie by the end of the season.
You heard it here
What's going
first.
on with Leonard? Is he done?
I think
Like
so.
retired, basically, like Carey Price
Yeah,
himself.
I think so.
I mean, he's got one more year left on his contract. I haven't heard anything about him. I feel like I haven't heard anything about him in years. So I have no
I feel
idea.
like he's vocal enough that if they were faking it, he would be like, "Yo, this is bullshit."
Yeah.
No, he had like a hip surgery, I think, but that was the last I heard, and that was like, I want to say that was like 2 years ago.
A hot minute ago.
His hips don't lie.
Sorry, what were you saying, Jesse? You can keep going.
I don't remember. But
You were talking about the goalies, how they improved or did not improve.
I mean, the way when you put it into perspective like that, I think that they may stay the same. But even where they were this last season was right on the cusp of a playoff berth. So if they get worse, then they're out of the playoffs, which was almost happening last season. So we'll see what happens with them, I suppose.
I mean, surely it'll be a new roster by the end of this season, right? They'll go out and get a bunch of people at the deadline.
They don't need to
So
explain themselves, Ethan.
They kind of can't.
They have
don't
no
have-
money.
They don't
They're-
have money, and they don't have a cupboard anymore for their prospects.
Well, I mean, obviously they will
Like no
put
picks.
players on LTIR to make the cap space.
I mean, you don't have picks though. Yeah, you could. They could circumvent, but I mean, what are they trading? You
I
got to
mean,
trade a player at that point.
You got to go out trying.
They picked up a very attractive Zach Aston Reese who played in the Grand Rapids Griffins last season.
Staten Island born, Zach Aston Reese.
Good lord! When I saw that name, I was like, "Oh, they're just filling."
The newspaper in Staten Island makes it a big deal.
So what'd you say their total was?
Oh, I did not, but I will gladly tell you that total. It is negative 3,000,000 and 640,000.
That's without Leonard on LTIR, probably though, right?
No,
Yeah.
he's on LTIR.
Well, he is, but
According to
It's-
Puckpedia, anyway.
for sure, yes. Puckpedia gave me the number, and this was the number.
I mean,
They're
it's the Vegas cap. We'll just call it the Vegas cap.
They're broke.
Next up on the list, we have the Calgary Flames, who finished the season 38 wins, 39 losses, 5 overtime losses, ending with 81 points, which won Cass a very anticipated bet with Jesse.
I'm not making any more bets with you, by the way. I don't want to. I'm not giving you any more of my money. Screw you.
I think
I'll make the bet with Amanda saying Carolina won't get out of this first round.
There you go.
Otherwise,
She
You
said
have to
something,
still
but we
be
didn't hear her. The face, the frustration.
Oh my god.
She's had a long day.
I have. I said, bring it on, Cass. I'll take it.
okay, so you
On
have to wear
20
like
bucks.
what a Boston hat.
Sure.
I'll wear my Carolina Zamboni thing around my neck for a podcast.
Oh my god, your popcorn bucket, your Zamboni
Yes.
popcorn bucket.
And I think I got the mini hat I'll wear too.
That's not
All
fair.
right.
That's a cool thing.
So those are the stakes.
Fantastic.
We have our first bet of the
Fantastic.
season.
There we
First
go.
and only.
Cass and Amanda, I'm going to say it one more time so it's on record. The bet is that Carolina will not make it out of the first round of the playoffs. If they do make it out of the first round, Cass will wear a beautiful Zamboni necklace thing that held popcorn at one point and a mini hat for like ice cream. If Carolina does not make it out of the first round, Amanda will wear a Boston Bruins hat.
Now let's make one thing clear: that thing will have popcorn in it again if it's around my neck.
As long as you can mute
Hey.
your mic.
David.
Back to Calgary, though.
Back to Calgary. I think they only had one big loss. That's what I'll say.
Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, who do they have? They're probably gonna run with Dustin Wolf and Dustin Wolf, Dan Vladar. I don't think Wolf really showed what he could potentially do when he had his opportunities last season. I think that their goaltending core has gotten worse. Vladar's not a number one. I don't think so. So
Dustin Wolf's coming out party.
I hope he does well. I like him. I think he's a good goaltender.
No way. Nah, they got worse.
For sure.
Mantha ended up going there.
Yes, he
Bean,
did.
Jake Bean,
Brian
Ryan
Lomberg,
Longberg.
Kevin
Yawn.
Ball.
Wow.
I'll say I think a departure of theirs that kind of hurts them more, that was a little more significant, was Mangiapane.
Yeah, I agree with that. He ended up going to Washington.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with Jonathan Huberdeau? Who's he going to be this season? Nazem Kadri, who's he going to be this season? They do have Andrei Kuzmenko, who I think performed well when he was traded to them from Vancouver. Igor Sharangovich was on the cusp of popping off last season. But I don't think that these guys are going to be the guys that are going to push them anywhere close to a playoff spot in this division.
No. I have a note here that it looks like it could be the Sharks of last season.
Ooh.
They look like they're stripping bare bones.
Ugh. Yikes.
I will. What I will tell you is Huberdeau, at least for the next few years, he'll be the guy collecting money as he skates half speed.
As he
Regardless-
skates in from the bench.
Regardless of it being
Yeah.
on a contract or a buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have 19,970,000 in their cap. So a lot of room to do something. I don't know.
Do they
Tessa.
still have Kadri?
They do.
Yes, they do. Which is who they're probably going to be relying on for most of their goal scoring, I assume.
Oof, what a phrase.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't have faith in the roster. That's why I look at it. I'm like, they're stripping down to bare bones. I mean, it's the same thing with the Sharks last season. You had Hurdle, you had Couture, which you didn't because he ended up getting a groin injury, and then healing, and then getting another groin injury. But like, you were kind of leaning on one or two dudes to just really do anything for scoring. And that's what they're doing now.
I definitely think that they got worse, and I don't think they're going to make it anywhere near a playoff spot. But I'm not taking any bets, Cass. I'm not doing it. No.
Imagine trying to sell a hockey fan on why you should be a Flames fan, and they're like, "Who's
Right
your
now?
top scorer? Who's like your star player?" And you say Kadri. They're like, Nazem Kadri. Yeah, that's it.
Their decor is not good. I mean, they've got Mackenzie Weegar. They've got I like Rasmus Anderson, Jake Bean, Danil Miramanov. I mean, these guys aren't going to be pushing them at all. So
Jonathan Cooper don't.
yeah, what's he going to do? I just don't foresee Calgary being prominent this season.
No, they don't have anything going on right now.
Getting rid of sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but getting rid of Mangiapane and Jacob Markstrom, I mean, that just shows where they're at. They're rebuilding. That's the way that it's going to be for them.
That's what I was saying. Like, they're going down to bare bones and studs and remodeling the house.
Speaking of bare bones and studs, the Seattle Kraken, they finished the season with 34 wins, 35 losses, and 13 overtime losses, also with 81 points.
Yeah, they did.
Go ahead, Alan.
But
Take it away.
now, I put notable acquisitions as Brandon Montour and Chandler Stevenson. Whether you think Stevenson was an overpay or not, I've taken some time since the contract got signed, and I've settled into kind of looking at what Francis is doing. And it seems like he's really working to get people who can skate. Other notable acquisitions, I put Dan Bilsma, Jess Campbell, and Bob Woods for coaching, because we got new coaching. Hackstall's gone, and
Thank
the
God.
other guy, and then Leach is back in Boston, so that's good. They get their good guy back.
That's a good addition. But we don't consider that in these lists.
No,
That's something we should consider. I agree.
Yeah.
That's an addition.
Jess Campbell, it was told more of what her role was going to be. She's going to be helping with some of the power play, but she's actually there to be more of a skating coach. So she's looking to get the guys' edges up to speed, which is good. It looks like they're really trying to adapt Dan's really aggressive forecheck, like
Let's go,
they had
Dan.
in Coachella and times before. What's that?
Disco Dan.
Disco Dan.
Disco Dan.
Disco Stew.
I looked that up, by the way, because I know you had a question on like the nickname. He picked that up when he was a player. I guess when he was playing with Enzo. I don't know. He was talking about it on another podcast. Departures: Brian Dumoulin, Carlo Yamamoto, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Chris Drieger.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Tomas Tatar and Justin Schultz. All of those guys.
Bye.
It's fine. I didn't have a
Good
lot of
riddance.
feeling for it because of all the stuff that's moving up too. It's not an acquisition, but like you have Shane Wright moving up, you have Riker Evans moving up. You got, I think Winterton has kind of been looked at to be moved up as well. But I really think the kids moving up is going to be a good one. They signed Beniers and Tolvanen, which is great. I was happy on the Beniers signing. I was happy on the Tolvanen signing. They have 21 out of 23 contracts, new coaching staff, and they have $4,000 in cap space. So, woo, broke.
That's enough for a team lunch.
Well, there's rumors saying that they're trying to move somebody because you can't really go with $4,000 in cap space and 21 contracts. You have an extra defenseman, but you have all the forwards that you have available with your cap space, period, nothing else.
I was going to ask you whether you thought Brandon Tanev was going to be on the roster come opening night.
Oh man,
I know he's a fan favorite, but
he's not like, yes, but like, okay, I put this comparison before. We have Brandon Tanev, right? And he can skate fast. He can hit hard. He can get breakaways and find those points. He can
and miss the puck when he goes to shoot it.
Exactly. He can't finish. He can't score. We also have another Brandon Tanev who can skate fast and hit hard and penalty kill and power play and can score. And we just re-signed him. It's Eeli Tolvanen. So you can get rid of Tanev. I'd be fine with getting rid of him. But I just don't know. He doesn't look attractive right now based on last season for sure. And Ethan and I have talked about this where Ethan was like, if I were to take him, you'd have to retain half. And
hell no.
Yeah.
That's a solid hell no.
We'll take all of it if you like package a second round pick.
Hell no.
The other name that popped up, which I was on the fence about, and I'm still not 100%. Yanni Gourde popped up, and he's got a $5 million contract. It's his last year. He could be tradable as well, but I don't know.
You can get rid of both of them for all I care.
It's I think this year is like a coin flip for Seattle on if they want to go into a bit of a quick rebuild or will this work? I think it's a coin flip. I think this. Yeah, this season it's like and we'll see how it falls.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Go.
Over or under 35 games played this season for Shane Wright?
Over. He's going to be roster for sure.
I agree. I think it's going to be over 35.
Over. They're talking so much hype on that kid right now. Like if you go to any of their social media stuff, like Ron and the coach, and they're all just like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be Shane Wright's first year in the NHL." Like they basically penciled it in already. That kid's going to be their opening night and from here on forth.
A devil's advocate, could they just be doing that because they screwed up on the pick and they don't want to admit it?
No, because they got Chalet to worry about. You have Jágr Furcus entering the Firebirds. You also have Berkeley Catton coming in next year, probably. You have some stuff in the pipeline that you're really focusing on. So now this is the year where Ron and the coaching staff is going, okay, the ones that need to move up, we got to move them up. Shane Wright, Riker Evans, for sure, move them up. And I'm happy with that.
So, better, same, worse for everyone.
I think
better.
Oh,
I think they'll be better.
Now.
I mean, you should have anticipated this. We did this with the 5 other teams.
Yeah, but here's the problem. If I say better, Ethan's gonna chirp me in Discord.
Rightfully so.
Foreseeable future.
I hope he chirps me so I can ignore it.
Bro, I'm gonna be going to work just holding my head in my hands. I'm going to say better, but I'm going to say with an asterisk, potential to be better. I
No
think the potential
asterisk.
to be better is way better. No, I'm allowed to.
This isn't the two.
You okay? Nice seeing you,
All right.
Alan.
This isn't the
Yeah.
two Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cups. No asterisk.
Yeah, I think they're going to be better for sure.
You know what? I think they are going to be better. When I look at the list, if it's just based on the list, I'm like, I think they stayed the same. But I do
Disagree. I think
they will be a
Chano
little bit better.
Stevenson's a huge ad, and Montour's a
I
huge
like
ad,
Montour.
I mean,
I like
Montour
Montour.
is
Schultz,
good.
who cares?
I like Montour. I think
Yeah.
they overpaid on Montour, but I mean, he's gonna. But I
think
think he's
that-
a good defenseman, so I'm grateful for that acquisition for sure, despite the
I-
money spent.
In time, his contract will even out and look a little better.
I
as
hope
the cap
so.
goes up. For now, it just looks kind of rough with $4,000.
I'm intrigued to see what Riker Evans is going to do. I'm intrigued to see what Ty Cartier is going to do. I think they've gotten better.
Speaking of youngins on a team, I guess we talk about the Anaheim I didn't do anything Ducks.
Yeah, so Anaheim, they are next behind Seattle. They finished 27 wins, 50 losses, 5 overtime losses, totaling 59 points. And they're doing a lot without doing much.
I've got nothing to say about them. The biggest news that I've heard, aside from the jerseys, which are sweet as hell.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Kat just said Anaheim's road jerseys are amazing, if nothing else. Agreed. Those jerseys are sick. The biggest news that I heard from this team, other than that, is that they may name Radko Gudas their captain. That's it. That's the only thing that I heard.
That's wild.
That's the only thing I've heard about them.
They painted their arena on the
Sick.
inside to be
Good
orange.
for them. Great. Nothing else. That's all I've got.
If that becomes true, do you like that?
The
Do I-
orange paint part?
Oh, Gudis?
Oh, Radko Gudas. Like, to me, I think it would be Lux Killorn over Gudas. They both got there at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
I do wonder if that causes discourse in the locker room.
I think they so badly want it to be Zegras. They just need him to be a different person.
Not yet. Not
Yuck.
yet. Do I like it if it's Gudas? I like Gudas, so I'd be okay with that. I just think it's a little hasty naming either Killorn or Gudas captain at this point. I don't think anybody should be captain of that team. I don't think that's a team, quite frankly.
No.
I hate to shit on anybody who's a professional athlete, anybody who's getting paid so much money to play this game. But that is not a I'm going to. That is not a cohesive team. That is not a cohesive roster. They have $21.7 million in cap space. They still got a lot of things that they need to do with that money before they become an NHL caliber team.
Dude,
this
how
is
much
AHL.
do you think it costs to paint the inside of an arena?
That doesn't count towards the
that
cap.
takes money.
Doesn't count towards the cap. Kat says Zegras got a mullet. That's also huge news. Agreed.
That's actually one of my acquisitions I have written down as his ratty ass mullet. I had to really try to figure out the departures and acquisitions on this one. Brian Dumoulin from Seattle on a trade.
Bye.
They need somebody veteran to do their decor, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Brian Dumoulin's not it. They got Gudas.
Somebody. Robbie Fabry from Detroit. A buttload of AHLers. The mullet. And then departures, I had Jacob Silfberg, Will Lagesson, Trevor Carrick, and Colin White. I tried my best. It was really hard.
Apparently,
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Getting back to the captain thing, why wouldn't it be Cam Fowler? He's been there forever.
He's gonna
I agree.
retire soon.
Hmm.
Like what? You think he has more than 2 years left?
How old is he now?
I think so.
He's 32.
32.
Gudas is 34. So
Yeah, so that kind of throws that up.
That's what I'm saying. I think they really want it to be Zegras.
Killorn
but
is
they need him
35.
to change.
Oh, Lord.
dude, there's been so much talk
Cam
about
Fowler.
Zegras being traded. Sorry, go ahead, Cass.
No, go. He's been in everything. I mean, the only one who's kind of under the radar there is Troy Terry, aka
Yeah.
Zegras to Ethan.
I don't know. This just looking at this roster,
They have so much money. They
They-
could easily make a move, but Pat.
No,
has
no, but there's
shown
no
all
one
summer
out
he's not
there.
gonna do anything.
There is not a free agent worth signing right now. If you look at the
No.
available people,
I just feel bad for John Gibson.
Oh,
that's what I was going to ask.
because John-
do you think he wants a trade yet?
Fuck yeah. Sorry. Hey, yeah, absolutely. John Gibson wanted to leave 2 years ago. I don't know what happened with that. He was the only person on that team last season who seemed to give a shit. He played his heart out every single game, and no one else on that team seemed to care. So
I have no idea where this passion for the Ducks came from, Jesse.
well, it's for John Gibson.
Whack.
Let's not get it mad.
You are so
Whack.
passionate about.
look at that logo. They deserve to be a great team. That jersey, they deserve to be a great team. If there's any California team that I like, it's the Ducks. Fuck the Sharks. Screw the Kings. It's the Ducks.
We've gone through the Rangers and the Kraken, and I've never seen you this worked up about a team.
I've been worked up about the Rangers.
You are.
I've definitely been worked up about the Rangers.
There's something about the Ducks. You really
So
like
if the
their
Ducks
logo.
played in the crypto arena, would you feel the same?
Oh
way?
no, I wouldn't. No.
He's all about that Honda.
So it's
It's
okay.
all about, I'm a Honda boy through and through.
So,
Give me an
well,
Odyssey. Give me a Honda Odyssey. Come on. I want a
about
minivan.
this?
Cool.
Let's give you some bigger suckage. Title of the
Uh,
episode.
how many
Uh,
highlights do you think
Bigger
Zegras made?
suckage.
Oh, you're talking about the Ducks still? What
Just
is
the
it?
one guy,
Who?
Zegras. How many highlights do you think he makes this year? Seems to be a pretty perennial thing to at least have-
Hockey highlights or like TMZ highlights?
TMZ
No,
highlights.
hockey.
I don't know. Like after the whole NHL 24 trailer where he was on the cover with Sarah Nurse, he didn't really do anything for me last year, if I don't remember correctly.
He did.
He was injured
Same night
a
Connor
bunch.
Bedard did a Michigan. He did a lacrosse goal, and it was on the Kraken. And I keep having to say, but who won?
I'll say 5.
Oh, I was gonna say 3, and I felt like that was
3's
pushing it.
conservative.
I'm gonna say 1.
Yeah,
Ooh.
me too.
Can we move on from them, please? I don't want to talk about.
Please,
Please.
I guess. Let's brighten up your day with the San Jose Sharks.
how was this bright?
They finished the season
Alan loves
With
the Sharks.
19 wins, 54 losses, 9 overtime losses, finishing the season with 47 points. Making a lot of moves, but not doing much.
Thank you so much for taking Barclay Goodrow. I appreciate that very
And
much,
thank you for
Mr.
taking
Greer.
Ty Delandria.
That Goudreau was on waivers.
I-
I mean,
I do
he
think
said he didn't even want to go.
Falsely.
he was very, very upset about that. And I remember getting passionate about that too when we talked about it. Screw you, Ethan. I do think with the way that San Jose has made their acquisitions this offseason, I think they got a little bit better. I mean, they have Tyler Toffoli now. They got Yaroslav Askarov from Nashville. Alex
Yep.
Wennberg, not the biggest needle mover, but Ty Delandria, Jake Wallman, Barclay Goodrow. I think that this is going to be a little bit better of a team. They also got a new head coach. I forget who it is, but
Yeah, I forget.
I think that they.
Ryan Warzowski.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike Wazowski, and I think that they. I think that they've. I think they. I've lost my point. I think they're going to be a little bit better. Definitely better than Anaheim.
You forgot their biggest acquisition, though, Celebrini. He's supposed to start with Will Smith this year.
Yeah, and Will Smith. They weren't on the team last year. You have to figure, I mean, they can't do any worse. Their offense was 31st in the league, and the defense was 32nd in the league. So, I mean, it can only go up. If you want to take those cup odds, they're 100 to 1.
Yeah. Hey, I think you've said on this podcast, Cass, that when they're like 100 to 1, you take it.
Depends. Not on this one.
You wouldn't put $100 down on a cup for San Jose?
Absolutely. Josh Allen screwed me out of $2,000 on Thursday. I'm still pissed about that.
That's what you get for gambling, you degenerate.
Oof.
I love you. Please.
I think Askarov, yeah, he's been great in the AHL. Is it going to translate?
I think it will.
So that was my question because they have 2 NHL goalies. So they're going to run 3 then? They do in a Detroit of last year?
Who's the third? Oh, they got Blackwood in.
and then they have Vitek Vanacek.
You got Wedgwood or Blackwood? You getting your
Blackwood.
words confused?
Whatever,
Blackwood.
Yeah, sure. The Wood.
They've got the wood.
Blackwood, Wedgwood, Morningwood.
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
there's no way they're going to tell Askarov to play in the AHL, right?
I would
There's
No,
no,
no, no.
way.
I
That
think
would be insane
I
to be
think-
like, hey man, welcome to the NHL. Barracudas.
I think there would be a potential for him to play in the AHL this season, but next season I think that it would be he would be NHL all around. I
That's
mean,
wild.
so they've got Vanacek and Blackwood on expiring contracts this year. Askarov's his entry level contract is expiring. He signed a two-year, $2 million deal with them. I think the potential for him to go to the AHL is possible, but next season he will be an NHLer.
I bet
right.
you see
So you
Askarov
don't think
play
they'll run
one
3?
preseason game, and then Blackwood and Vanek are gonna play it out, duke it out for that second spot in the preseason.
So you don't think they're running 3 then?
Oh, so you
They have
think
the cap space, but
Askarov is the one?
I do
Okay.
100%. They're giving him 2 times 2. He has to be the one.
I mean, gosh, for his sake, I hope so.
For the
For
fans of Nashville's sake, I hope so.
Well, yeah, that too.
Because imagine being a Nashville Predators fan and Askarov's in the AHL this season after he said he didn't want to be.
Yeah.
I can't see San Jose giving up a first round pick and signing him to that contract if they don't plan on him being the NHL goalie.
I agree. I could see that.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go through our lists?
Oh, let's go with Amanda first. She's been mighty quiet. Make sure you unmute that mic and run down the list.
Make that mistake once on air.
It's been like 15 times.
Once. That math thing in North Carolina, remember? Anyways,
Truth.
so first I have
your heart.
Vancouver and Edmonton, Vegas, and the Kings, and Seattle, Calgary, Sharks, and Ducks.
Is LA a playoff team?
No.
Wild card? No. Okay. Ethan,
Boy, mine's pretty much the
I
same.
swear to God, if you get Seattle first, I'm gonna reach through that computer and say something.
Come on, Cash. You know me better. Vancouver, Edmonton, Vegas, LA, Seattle, Calgary. Then I went Anaheim, San Jose.
You have LA as a playoff team.
No.
Okay. Jesse.
I'm going to go Canucks, Oilers, Kraken, Golden Knights, Kings, Sharks, Ducks.
Calgary.
Last.
Last.
Yeah. Screw them.
Is Vegas a playoff team?
Yes.
Ooh.
All right. We got our guest. Alan,
I'm
go
so
ahead.
Scared. I am so scared because I know that I'm gonna out hot take Ethan on this one. I am so scared. I have from top to bottom Edmonton Oilers number 1, Vancouver Canucks number 2, LA Kings number 3, Seattle Kraken number 4, Vegas Golden Knights number 5, Anaheim Ducks number 6, San Jose Sharks number 7, and Calgary Flames number 8.
Is Seattle a playoff team?
Okay, that's where I have an issue with yours.
There it is. I'm so scared. Oh no.
No, I just think the Central's going to be pretty strong.
Which we
I
will
have
talk about.
Edmonton. I have Edmonton, Vancouver, Vegas, LA Kings in a wild card spot. Seattle, Calgary, San Jose Sharks, and Anaheim.
So this year you have Seattle over Calgary.
Correct.
Well over Calgary.
100%.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I guess
that.
that's it for
for
that.
Allen.
That's that.
For-
Well, no, we're gonna keep Alan
Uh,
for the defenseman talk because I have no choice. Which we will skip.
but
to.
also
Yeah, look at this.
because we want his opinion.
Yeah, yes.
I
Well,
appreciate
he's
it.
also here, so. So we're going to talk about the NHL Network's. It says top 20 defensemen right now. I guess they did a top 20 list or a top 10 list.
Yeah, they did a top 20.
Okay. We've got Cale Makar at number 1, according to the NHL Network. Quinn Hughes at number 2. Victor Hedman at number 3. Roman Josi at number 4. Miro Heiskanen at number 5. Gustav Forsling at number 6. Charlie McAvoy at number 7. Adam Fox detrimentally and abysmally low at number 8. Evan Bouchard at number 9. And Devon Taves at number 10.
To give you just the cushion, they had Rasmus Dahlin at 11, Josh Morrissey at 12, and Jacob Slavin, or Slavin, depending on how you say it,
Ouch.
at 13.
Good lord.
I told you I was going to get him a hook.
You have the rest of that list, Ethan?
Yeah, Zach Werenski, Noah Dobson, Matthias Ekholm, Drew Doughty, Noah Hannafin, Doogie Hamilton, Moritz Seider. Cedar.
Who still doesn't have a contract.
All right. Before we get into this, we all agree that Gustav Forsling is way too freaking high on this list.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And Roman Josi.
I think I think I could keep Roman Josi at like that 10 spot, but number 4 I think is
Yeah.
insane.
Top 10's
How-
fine. Top 5's kind of atrocious.
Well,
I'm-
basically, what they did is just picked from the top 10 defensive point people for their list. Like that's essentially all they did. They're looking at offensive
That's dumb.
defensemen, which frustrates me because there's so much more than that.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, on this
literally.
list, I have Forsling either 9 or 10.
Yeah. I Miro Heiskanen at 5? What?
Do you think that's
There's
too
no
high for him?
way. No.
You think that's too
You think
low?
he should be higher? You are on crack.
He should be higher.
Where
No,
should he be?
It's for me.
Over Victor Hedman.
You're
Mm,
crazy. You're crazy.
I think you are
Victor
on crack.
Hedman of today?
I think the
Nah.
top 3 are solid where they belong, and you can't change those. I got Adam
Gosh.
Fox at 4.
Thank
Whoa.
you.
And I have
Thank you,
Josie
Cass.
at 5 and
Thank you.
Keskinen at 6. I probably would put McAvoy right where he is at 7, Bouchard at 8, and Forsling at 9. And I think Devon Taves is on this list basically because of who he plays with, which is the number 1 defenseman in the league.
That was kind of
Oh.
my thought too.
Cat says defensive
I-
minded defensemen never get love, which obviously they don't care about them.
No, because it's harder to record them on a stat sheet, I guess.
That's why I like the plus minus.
But that's so annoying because they bring just as much to the team, if not more, blocking shots. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That is when they talk about defensemen, it's one of the things that really frustrates me is that everyone always focuses on the offensive part of being a defenseman versus like your true defensive defenseman.
We've moved away from that. It's like defense is really like a center role more than anything. Yeah, I don't know. I put Heiskanen higher. I put Josi. I'd put him at like 8.
It blows my mind because you see him more than any of us, and I think he's definitely top 6 in my mind, if not top 5.
Oh, man.
I think Adam Fox is too low, and his injuries
I
last
think,
year is why
you're-
he's that low on
You
that
put
list.
him way up.
I think he deserves
Rightfully
to be way up.
so.
I
Rightfully
think he's
so.
you
one-
even had him there, Jesse.
Crybaby.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, when we talk when we talk about the best defensemen, it's always Makar, Hughes, and Fox. Like, those are the three. Hedman is there, but he's getting older, so maybe 3 and 4 between Hedman and Fox. I give it to Hedman because Hedman has the experience. He has the Stanley Cups. He has the pedigree, and he's already a Hall of Famer.
Put Heiskanen in the top 3 for me. Put it on the board. We'll come back this time next year. Top 3.
Yeah, if he has another full season and he does well, I mean, he could bump up that list very easily. This Forsling thing just like blows me out of the water. I don't get it.
It's only because he was on the team that won the cup.
Yeah, like he isn't not that he isn't anything special, but
would you rather Forsling or Dahlin?
On my team?
I don't know enough of.
Yeah. Or in this top 10.
Well, Dahlin's a lot younger, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know enough about both players to make that decision, but by my gut, I'd go Dahlin. He was the number 1 overall draft pick. From what I know, he's lived up to his hype, even though he is playing in that garbage Buffalo team. So, I don't know. Neither of them moved the needle. I think Dahlin in 5 years will be on top 10, though.
Yeah. Not trying to go past the top 10, but I would say Hanifin at 18 seems really low.
I can't believe Werenski's that high, considering all his injuries, too. Like, I would almost flip-flop those two right there. Who?
Werenski came in at 14.
Oh, 14, yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
That's really
That's what I'm saying.
Look,
he even played 30 games last year?
I think the players for this top 10 are fine. I think the order for them is just not where I would. I mean, yes, I'm a Rangers fan, but I think Adam Fox being at number 8 is egregious, honestly. And it's not because I'm a fan of the team or a fan of him. I think that he's a much better player than what this list is putting out. So,
where would you honestly put him?
I would put him in the top 5. I would probably put him at that 5 mark.
Is that above Yossi or below?
I'd put him at 4.
Okay, yeah. I think I would go Makar, Hughes, Hedman, Fox, Yossi.
Yes.
I agree. Heiskanen.
Sorry.
I'd almost do
Sorry.
Bouchard over McAvoy because of his power play time, and he plays in the power play 1. More dynamic offensive player, even though we talk about offensive defensemen and all that stuff. It is important in this game.
It is.
And I was wrong about Werenski. He played 70 games last year. I thought he was injured for most of the year. But
The real question is,
playoff.
I mean, that's how invisible he was, though, also.
the real question is, where is Darnell Nurse on this list?
100.
He's at the butt end.
Where is Seth Jones? Where are these guys?
Yeah.
Getting paid the big bucks. I ain't see you on no top 10 list. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Anything else? Lady and gentlemen?
I'm trying to think of like another top defenseman that gets paid too much that's not on here. I can't think of it. So
Brandon Montour.
he does get paid a lot.
He does get paid a lot.
But I
He's
think it's
good.
worth
He's
it.
not in this top 20.
Which is kind of wild because he put up a lot of points.
Wow.
At least playoff-wise, he made himself pretty prevalent.
That's all I have.
That's all I have. Anyone?
Cass, Alan, Amanda,
Thank
Cass,
you for
Alan.
having me. I appreciate your time.
Getting
Yeah.
closer. They're doing the prospect challenges now, so we're only a couple weeks away, guys. We're almost there.
Preseason starts a week from today. That's when Jesse celebrates the start of the season.
That's so wrong. Hockey's hockey.
It is not.
Hockey is hockey, damn it.
I'm going to cut you off like I did.
It's hockey.
I'm going to cut you
Okay,
off
love
like
you,
I
bye.
did Tyson. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, watching. Are we doing anything next week? I'm not going to be here, so I don't know
We
if
might
they're doing-
record a different day.
Okay,
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
yeah.
We'll
So
post an update.
I guess we'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Follow us on Twitter, X, Top Shelf Dusters, Facebook.com/TopShelfDusters. Kat, if you have anything you want to ask us, you can email us at TopShelfDusters@gmail.com. Don't message us on Discord. Email us. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys next week.